Oh boy, episode 4 of The Acolyte. There's a lot of ways for me to do this breakdown. We can jump right in, go scene for scene, get into it, which we're going to do in maybe a little bit. But I first want to address the elephant in the room. They brought Ki-Adi Mundi back. The episode is essentially a long hike for both parties. May and Star Wars Snape Potions Master, and the Jedi hoping to find her. Now, there's a lot of different things in this episode that really contradict not just Star Wars as a whole, but even previous episodes of The Acolyte. Now, I thought the last week took the cake for the most lore-breaking cringe that I've ever seen in Star Wars. But this week seems to do something else interesting as well. Bringing in the man who defies this entire show by his line in the Phantom Menace.
My only conclusion can be that it was a Sith Lord.
Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
Hoping to add a level of acceptance if he's involved in this show. Because obviously, him having said that line is a big detractor in this show's possibility. But if he's in the show, it retracts any claim against what he said in the Phantom Menace, which then in turn makes the show valid.
Hard to see the dark side is.
But no, it only makes matters worse. Not only is Ki-Adi Mundi knowing about the dying of the Jedi being a major problem, but it's also the fact that he wasn't even born yet. That is, until Wikipedia went in real time during the live stream to quickly change the birth date of Ki-Adi Mundi in the hopes that no one would notice. When even their own system said that this was an error, I found it to be quite interesting how they quickly added in his birth date. Site error! God damn, they were quick to get on that one, eh? Look at that, boys.
Someone get in there! We have to update it to Leslie Headland's shit lore that she just created and manipulated.
But then you scroll down to the shit that they updated. Biography was born prior to 132 BBY. Huh? I don't understand. How was he born before 132 BBY? But here they say 93 BBY. Because they just manipulated the system because of a shitty show where the showrunner has no idea what Star Wars is. But thankfully, they left the Legends date. That just doesn't matter. Because whatever Leslie Headland says now is canon. If he's not alive, I'll make it happen. In fact, let's just add an extra 40 years. Anyways, the Jedi end up having a meeting. And they discuss May as the one who killed the two Jedi Masters. They realize Sol didn't tell them that the twin sister of Osha exists and has spent the last 17 or so years training under a Force user they assume is a Jedi of their own. Now, Ki-Adi Mundi is there, even though he isn't supposed to be born yet for another 39, 40 years. But hey, who cares? Let's just throw him in and change his info so that when he dies in Revenge of the Sith, he's more like 110 instead of 70, like what was originally established. All to just retract his line in the Phantom Menace. Because if he's here, it all makes sense then. He's the key to making this show plausible. But let me tell you guys something. It doesn't make it plausible. Him being alive also creates another issue. So he just doesn't tell Yoda or the Jedi Masters that there was a twin of a former student of the Jedi Council that was essentially born exactly like Anakin was when he made fun of Qui-Gon when Qui-Gon came to them saying, I found a virgin in the Force, chosen one prophecy. They all made fun of him, including Ki-Adi Mundi.
You refer to the prophecy of the one who will bring balance to the Force.
I don't presume to.
But you do. Oh. Trained as a Jedi, you request for him,
And not only does he know about two children that were made this way, but he now also realizes that Sith has now been around. A Sith is killing Jedi. And he doesn't even tell anybody about it. And if he does, well, maybe we'll know about it in the next few episodes. But I don't think we know about that in The Phantom Menace, because you can't change that one. The other thing that's weird is that he now knows a Jedi Master, which Master Vernestra believes it was a Jedi Master that trained May, has gone rogue. And we don't hear about this at all in The Phantom Menace. And look, I'm all for expanding the stories, expanding Star Wars. I was very on board with Mando and some of the other projects. But some stuff like this is so, not even half-baked, that you got to sit back and be like, no, that just doesn't work. I'm sorry. That just does not fly. It's just crazy that Ki-Adi Mundi knows someone has been killing Jedi, and that a Jedi Master has trained her for the last almost 2 decades. And whether he ends up telling Yoda or not, if they want to change that up in the show too, because at this point, why not? It completely detracts from his line in The Phantom Menace when he and the Council disbelieve a Sith Lord could return.
Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
Because now they know that a red lightsaber wielder, like the one Qui-Gon fought on Tatooine, the same one that Ki-Adi Mundi doubted, is very much real and happening. Sol asks to bring Osha to lure May in peacefully as bait. So they all go on a hike and a tracker is brought in with them, who's given the scent of May to find her. First off, why not just go straight to Kelnaka's house? But let's just say they have no intel on where his house exactly is, so okay, whatever. Remember on the ice planet when Sol found Osha quite easily without any tracker whatsoever? Just keep that in mind for a sec. It's weird that a gopher is needed to track a Jedi on the very planet that they're on when they traveled across an entire galaxy to some random hidden planet to infiltrate these witches 7 or so years after they created Force-sensitive girls, 2 of them. They pinpointed them pretty much from light years away. Without this groundhog otter thing, was there a gopher tracker in the High Republic that the Jedi stopped using during the prequel trilogy that I'm not aware of? They had no issue finding the girls then, but on the same planet, they need a hound. Makes sense. And forget that. The Smiler Ren character is immensely more powerful than all of them, so shouldn't they sense him too? Unless he has also the ability to suppress and hide his Force powers, which is insanely difficult and requires a lot of mastery of the Force to do, something that Palpatine was proficient in. The episode is about 20-second intervals with about 5 minutes of pointless exposition, stopping every few moments just to speak some dribble that really doesn't help the story at all, but rather just passes time so that we can get to that amazing cliffhanger. May awakens a space-flying armadillo moth, so Sol cuts it down in half, and they continue on. I'm guessing in the 5th or 6th episode, they're probably going to have to kill a whole bunch of them at night, and it's going to be a bunch of glow sticks in the dark sort of thing. May gets tired and takes a break, then realizes that she doesn't want to kill the Jedi anymore, and her allegiance lies with her sister. Fair enough, she just trained about 17 years to kill the Jedi and seek revenge on them and avenge her sister, but yeah, you know what? She's just kind of tired now, so she's going to take a stop and, switch plans. I'm a good guy now. I'm just going to turn myself in. And it seems like she stopped just to find a good tree to hang Kimir on, the potions guy. He ends up swinging around, crying for help, and it's really overacted, and I think it's done so on purpose because he's actually Smiler Ren. He's the evil guy. He says, "No, what are you going to do?" She says that she's going to turn herself in to Kelnaka. Well, that's pretty quick. Quick turnaround. He says his master will kill her. And he breaks character right there and becomes his true self. I'm pretty sure he's the Sith Lord. And people who argue this is not a Sith Lord, okay, call it a Dark Jedi. Call it an Acolyte. The point is, this dude is running around in a black helmet, clad black, with a red lightsaber. He's killing Jedi. What should we call him? For all intents and purposes, he's a Sith. Dark Jedi. Oh no. Okay, sure. All right, semantics. Whatever. Next time Darth Vader comes running around, let's call him a confused Jedi as well, shall we? You know what? No, he becomes a Jedi again in the end, so we just call him a transient Jedi. He's in his state, right? He's vibing right now. He's figuring himself out. The Jedi run around aimlessly until the gopher screams and finds May. As she runs for Kelnaka's hut, only to find him dead, Smiler Ren floats in like Dooku did in the 2D Clone Wars, but not like the real Count Dooku or Palpatine did in any live-action movie.
They fly now! They fly now! They fly now!
It was kind of weird to see, but whatever. The least of our worries. He flicks Osha aside and throws all the Jedi back with a simple Force push. Seems like a much more powerful Darth Maul. So what did I think of the episode? Okay, it wasn't nearly as bad as the Power of One, the Power of Many garbage in the episode before, which had like so many instances of just what the heck is going on. But it had something that was really ridiculous with changing the date of Ki-Adi Mundi's existence. You know, adding an extra 40 years to an already pre-established character, which has lore in Legends already done, is pretty insane. You know, that's pretty crazy. Just to interject this character that made a statement in episode 1 that the Sith haven't been seen for 1,000 years to help purport your own half-baked story. You're just not going to make fans with that. I just don't think that that's really the right way to do this. Make your own story in between timelines, sure, whatever, man, you know, but don't like resurrect characters, or in this case, what would we even say, like make their parents do it sooner so that he would like be born 40 years in advance. I mean, that literally would have to be like his grandparents made him, you know? Anyways, you guys understand how weird that is, right? So there's that part of it, which to me is like, okay, fine, you know, we could maybe get over that. They want to make him a little bit, you know, come in sooner, sure. But they can get very old. So if you didn't know, the Jedi actually allowed Saurians, which is the species that Ki-Adi Mundi is, to have lots of kids. And they could also have lots of wives. Their species was a dying race, the Saurians. And so it was their duty to have multiple wives and have many children. I don't think Leslie Headland would like that very much. But anyways, I guess that's why his head was shaped the way it was. The man had a lot of work to do, you know, for the good of his people, of course. So, you know, there's that, bringing him in there. But even with that, it's like, how do you now keep this from the council and not tell anybody? And when Qui-Gon says, you know, hey, there was a Sith Lord, you're going to question him? I mean, I feel like then in this case, now, Ki-Adi Mundi would be the very first person to agree with him and be like, yes, he could be. I saw this person. It just messes everything up. You can't do that with characters, especially one as important with that one line that Ki-Adi Mundi said in episode 1.
Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
It's really ridiculous. It's so cocky, it's so arrogant, in my opinion, to take a character that George wrote, put him 40 years ahead of his time, and make him now completely like it just opens up so many. I excited to see what happens at the very end of this whole show, to finally give my full consensus on the entire season and how much it has either destroyed or bolstered Star Wars. And I'm inclined to go with destroyed. But hey, look, that was episode 4, and I guess we have that big cliffhanger to go off of for next week with episode 5 to see, you know, Smiler Ren and just how much more powerful he is compared to all of the other Sith. Dark Jedi of the prequel trilogy. I guess we'll find out. I got some funny videos coming for you guys this week, as well as a also very important video mashup from the live stream as well. So I hope you guys will stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys very soon in the next video. Leave a like on this one if you enjoyed it. Check out theorysabers.com for my saber shop, and I will see you all very soon. Catch me on social media. Love you all. May the Force be with you.